Back in 2009, I came across a cover of a song originally by Yoeko Kurahashi. It's now 2016. Yoeko announced her retirement about 9 years ago, and there's no sign of any translations showing up for her music. This is a shame. You can tell there's a strong appeal to her music, even if only judged by the quality of some of the fan music videos you can find. The goal of this video is to provide an introduction to her music and a reference for some of the nuance that's lost by just a straight translation. To start off, here's a sample from a song titled Shizumeru Machi, or Buried City. The style of music is something you probably already know if you would like or not. Right away we have regular and seemingly effortless octave jumps that are common to her music. Given the emphasis on her vocals and piano, her songs tend to have a very clean sound. The melody's motif has two parts. It primarily moves fluidly from one syllable to the next, but then you also have a very short and separated, also known as staccato, interlude that sticks out and may already be stuck in your head. Let's listen to that again with subtitles, keeping in mind these two distinct sections. It's difficult to tell whether the lyrics or the music were written first, because it's clear both consider the other. When she says 10-10, you can imagine this as bit by bit. There's any number of ways that this could have been written, but this seems clearly chosen to reflect the very action they're referring to. The entire pacing of the song is trying to provide this onomatopoetic effect, so we get that staccato section for the drip sound, and the rest moves like water. So right in the first stanza we know the heart of the entire song. It's poignant, but a simple premise. This is the beginning of the song, and no further explanation is ever given as to what the specifics are of the situation. At first this may seem like a weakness of the song, but it actually allows for a much stronger empathetic focus. As an example as to what I mean, two of the more popular songs in 2010 were from CeeLo Green and Adele. These songs could practically be written about the same event. But when you listen to how they're telling the story, you get two completely different styles. With CeeLo Green, especially if you've watched the video accompanying it, chances are you're sympathizing with him. The song is full of somewhat humorous analogies on how a situation is unfair. By the end of that video, you're with him as he rose above the person who turned him down. Adele's song, on the other hand, you're never given an account as to why it happened, just a feeling of how much was lost and how bad it'll be as a result. Lyrics like, "There's a fire starting in my heart," and "Scars of your love" are focused on the singer's reaction to the situation rather than describing the situation itself. It makes it that much easier to put yourself in the shoes of the singer. I feel this is pretty well reflected in the top comments I saw for her music video. Neither approach is more legitimate than the other, or necessarily simpler, but they have different goals, where one is focusing on projecting a feeling of sorrow, the other is about sympathizing with someone else feeling sorrow. When it comes to the former, Shizumeru Machi already managed to nail it in just 5 words. Each word is considered and adds weight to whatever point the song's trying to make, and this extends beyond just this one song of hers. Take this separate song, Koko ni iru, which means, I am here. The beauty of a language with such strong pivot words is just how much one syllable can completely change a sentence. I translated this 3 different ways before settling on this translation, and it may be that there was double meaning intentionally to this, but I'm going to focus on what I'm certain of. The first sentence starts off with namae nado. Namae just means name, but nado is a word meant to describe essentially a list which doesn't necessarily contain any other items in it. In this case, we know she's forgotten her name. There may be other things she's forgotten we don't know, although it implies that there is. It's a word which is intentionally only adding vagueness to the sentence. It's used again in the chorus as well. There's a slight difference in the particles used here in the chorus, switching to for mo. A more literal translation of this section is, non-existence and I are the same. With mo, first, mo means also in this context, which adds a bit of vagueness just like nado. Nothingness isn't the only thing that she is comparing herself to, even if we don't know what else she is. Second, we can infer that this is a separate instance of the same thoughts. Just a single consonant change helps reinforce the idea that she's felt alone for a long time. The interesting thing on the second part is due to her stating the one next to her is her reflection. Suddenly it suggests that the song may be her calling out to herself. If you can remember my name, let me know. Maybe her just asking herself everything we've heard so far. This may actually be something of a trend. When she references anyone in the song, it's just Anoko, that child. That child shows up in the next part of Shizume Machi. Here we start off with some self-deprecating humor. Due to all the tears, the food is terrible. I have nothing further to say on this, I just think it's kind of funny. Rather, we have a change in subject here. The source of the tears has been assumed to be the singer up until this line saying the child will be buried by them. Between this and the next song I'll be introducing, there seems to be a strong chance that the child is just the part of the singer that the singer hates. Terrible things happen to the child, and the songs are not afraid to pin the blame directly on the child for their own suffering. I suspect this is just to make it easier for the singer to say what she wants to say by disassociating herself from that child. There is a quote from an interview with her on her Wikipedia article where she stated that music is only a filter for her. When she has something she wants to say, she writes a song. Unlike what I've shown so far, not all of her music is negative. I'm tying several themes together from her songs to hopefully impress on you that she's worth listening to, but if you're looking to music that's a bit sweeter, I find her lemon cake much more palatable. In fact, my main criticism is probably that you can't go into her music expecting it to be passive listening. If you listen to one of her songs for the first time by putting it on in the background while doing another task, you'll wind up getting something like this. And not getting any work done. If you're actively listening to the music, this kind of dissonance is both making it interesting and emphasizing the emotional low point of the song, but every time I've put it on in the background I found myself listening to it instead of whatever I was doing previously. So I suppose I'm giving her disguised praise here. Yoeko only produced music for a short period of time, 2000 to 2007, but left several albums, ending her career in the fashion of her songs, her last album being called Dismantling the Piano, followed by a final tour called Dismantling Yoeko, thankfully. Capturing this mood, I'm going to end this video with the song that first caught my attention, but it feels tragic to split this one up at all, so I won't. I'll be playing it with an unofficial fan video that fits perfectly. This is called Yona Yona Yona, or Night After Night After Night. Before I start, if you've made it this far, I genuinely appreciate it. I hope you can derive as much enjoyment from listening to her music as I do. With that, Yona Yona Yona.